I think I want people who aren't part of this school to have a sense that lack of grades doesn't mean lack of rigor, lack of learning outcomes that are enumerated before something begins actually allows for more learning rather than less. That the idea that an A means you've learned something, if we think about it, doesn't make any sense. There's no end to learning. So that we're a place for kids who want to keep going and understand there's no ceiling for good thought and there's no ceiling for inquiry and knowledge.
I want them to walk away as confident. I want them to walk away as caring. I want them to walk away with a bunch of knowledge. I want them to walk away with the skills so that they can approach new situations successfully.
I had one child, my first child in 1968, and when he was 3 years old, so in 71, I got 5 other families together, so there were 6 families we got together, and my husband and I, we bought a house over on Sussex Street. That's where the name comes from. We bought that house with the idea that, you know, I could start a preschool, and that's really what it started, as a preschool. I am not a preschool teacher. I'm a middle school or high school. I mean, I'm not very tolerant with young children. I lose my patience. But anyway, we started a preschool, and of course there were other people there teaching the kids. There was an alternative school movement in town at that point. The idea was that we were all interested, we were all interested in really being in the public schools, but we wanted to try to change something and have a school within a school. And so we worked and worked and worked, and then eventually the superintendent was all for it, and then we wrote a grant and got funded if it would be matched by the district, and then they turned it down. They didn't want the money. So that really pushed us into just starting an elementary school. So the following year we had a real school, not just a preschool. So that's really how it got started.
There are some things that are the same, right? We have kids, we have classes and classrooms, we have teachers. But what makes it different is our emphases. The school was founded by Benta Winston in the 70s and some other founding families as an alternative to what was available to families at the time. We've always kept that as an alternative, that we don't have to follow the concepts that traditional schooling had followed. That independence also affects how we approach our families and our kids. We want them to be able to go their own paths. So yesterday I had a kid helping teach a parkour class while his friends were helping work on recycling. And I have another student right now who's going to the national championships in Geography B. And so he's canceled his classes for the afternoons for the rest of the spring. A second piece for us is our community focus. Unlike a neighborhood school where everybody lives in the neighborhood, we actually bring people from all over the Missoula Valley. And so there's this big emphasis on community among the families, within the classroom, among our staff, a sense that everybody goes together, and then also getting out in the community.
My goal for each student is that they feel like I personally am invested in their success, and that somehow I have given them support to better realize whatever it is that they want realized. Whether it's knowledge or skill or both, or a feeling of rigor, or just a feeling that they have somebody out there in the world, an adult who really is cheering them on. I hope that when they leave here, I've given them that.